So you're tired of guys finding and ripping off your trail cameras and big bucks walking right up to your camera and then disappearing for weeks at a time? Well, that was me several years ago, and what I want to do in this video is share with you 4 simple changes that you can make that'll prevent your cameras from getting ripped off, but it'll also give you a lot more information every time you swap out the SD card. One of them is that I never put my cameras 3 to 4 feet off the ground. Most of my cameras from now on are always 10 to 12 feet up in a tree, just like the one above my head.
Anybody that's been running trail cameras long enough has probably got a lot of pictures of deer just staring at their camera. It kind of makes you wonder, by the time a mature buck reaches 3 to 4 years old, how many cameras has he seen in his lifetime? 50? 100? So a while back I did an experiment with 2 separate trail cameras, one with black flash, which is filming everything you're seeing here, and the other one was just regular white IR flash that I put on that tree right there on the side of the food plot. Now, the purpose of the experiment was to see how much that IR flash camera would illuminate that food plot, and you can see that it lit it up pretty good. Now, one of the videos that the regular IR flash camera took was of this doe that came in, and it looks like it's just a regular still picture, but actually it's the opening frame of a video. And in video mode, it shows you a lot more of the negative reactions that deer have to these white IR flash cameras. Here's another video of a buck that comes into a white IR flash camera. This guy's about 2.5 years old, and he sees that white light coming off that box on the side of the tree. He's not real sure about it. He kind of comes in very cautiously, and you can see that he starts getting stiff-legged. He starts high-stepping, and then cautiously walks by. That is a negative reaction. Now, this looks like a regular still picture from a white IR flash camera, but really it's the first frame of a video that shows what these coyotes do as soon as that white light turns on. This is another negative reaction and shows what happens in video mode after the picture is taken. Now, you might be thinking that it's video mode that's causing these deer to run off, but actually this is the first picture in a series of 7 that causes this deer to take off with that white IR flash camera. Here we got 3 does on a food plot trail, and they spot that white IR flash camera and they just don't like it, and they start heading off with another negative reaction. And then we have this real young doe that comes in, and you can see her reaction. She doesn't like it at all. Now, here's a 3-year-old buck that comes in, and it's light enough that the flash doesn't even have to turn on, but yet he sees that box on the side of the tree, and he has seen enough of those things that it just doesn't make him very comfortable. Now, another problem we all have to deal with is trespassers walking around our property, spotting our cameras, and ripping them off. And here's a prime example of a brazen kid that is trespassing on a property while I'm hunting 18 feet up in a tree. And he's walking around probably looking for a place to hunt, but if he had seen a camera 3 to 4 feet off the ground on a tree, he may have ripped it off, who knows. But if he's not going to see me 18 feet up in a tree while I'm filming him walk by, he's probably not going to see a real little trail camera 10 to 12 feet up a tree. He never spotted me because I was hiding behind the tree out of my tree saddle. So the solution to this is to just grab one climbing stick that'll get you 4 to 5 feet up in a tree, and then hang your camera about 10 to 12 feet up. Or you can use some Ameristep screw and tree steps. Now, over the last couple of years, I've been replacing all the camera straps with these little swivel mounts that you can put together with parts from the hardware store for about $3 a piece. And if you think about it, these are completely odorless because the straps that we handle, we keep in the back of our vehicles, we leave them around in our house. They're always absorbing odors, and especially when you put them at 3 to 4 feet off the ground, it's an easy ticket for these deer to smell what's going on. And I think the straps smell a lot worse than the actual cameras do. So once you step up on your climbing stick, these little eye bolts are real easy to screw right into the tree. And then once you get that thing mounted, everything is right there at head level. It really is almost no different than standing on the ground. And for the extra amount of time it takes to get just a few feet up in a tree, it's well worth it. Now, the 4th and final tip is to use a black flash camera instead of the clear or white LEDs. And the reason is obvious in that the deer won't see the black flash, and it's absolutely invisible to a trespasser walking by. And the cost of these black flash cameras have really been coming down over the years. And so on the right here, we have a Browning Dark Ops that's a black flash. And then on the left side, we have the Browning Strike Force. And the Dark Ops on the right is only about $10 more than the regular camera. So a cost is really not even a factor anymore, and security and invisibility makes a huge difference. So once you trim away all the leaves and branches that could cause your camera to trip 84 times during the middle of a windy day, then you can just sit back and enjoy all the information that you're going to get every time you swap out an SD card. You'll notice that these two bucks, they walked right by my camera and they didn't smell it because they can't reach it. They have no idea it's there, and so this is going to cause them to come back again, possibly the next day and the next day. So right here you see that this buck is walking right back toward my tree. He never looks up, he never stops. That buck has no idea it's there. And now these two bucks are almost looking toward the camera, and you can bet that if it was 4 feet off the ground, they would know it was there, and then they'd come over and smell it. Here's another real nice buck. This is a 3-year-old. He smells my footprints from the day before when I set the camera out, but he's not able to reach his nose up and smell that camera. And so even though he smells my footprints, those will dissipate. So we've all heard deer hunters who say that trail cameras really don't bother deer once they get used to them, or that it depends on the deer. Some do and some don't. Well, that may be true, but I think a bigger factor is the amount of hunting pressure in the area. There's a big difference between lots of small 40 and 80 acre parcels crammed into most counties in states like Michigan and Pennsylvania with high hunting pressure versus a few large parcels of 200 and 400 acres in Iowa with a lot less hunting pressure, as shown in this diagram from the QDMA. So if it's true that some bucks are more wary of trail cameras, you can bet it's the mature bucks that avoid anything suspicious and out of place. After all, they didn't reach maturity by being careless. So, since it's wary mature bucks most hunters are after, then why would they mount these little plastic boxes with flashing white lights and smelly fabric straps right at eye and nose level for every deer to see and get a good whiff? It really comes down to not respecting a mature buck's ability to identifying hunting pressure and avoiding hunters in the fall. After all, if we go through all the hard work of planning food plots and hanging stands and spending more money on hunting than our wives even know about, then why would we cut corners by sabotaging great hunting spots with careless trail cam strategies? And if you're in a high hunting pressured area, it's very important not to let these mature bucks know that they're being hunted. So, if you have problems with guys trespassing on your property and ripping off your cameras, or you have deer that like to stare at the lens on your cameras, well then hopefully you can employ some of these 4 tips and improve your trail cam strategy. So if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you on the next video.